Today I will discuss about covalent bond and covalent compounds, formation of covalent compounds. In the last class, I discussed about the ionic bond. As you know that there are two main types of a chemical bond. First one is ionic bond and number second is covalent bond. So, what is a covalent bond? Covalent bond is a bond that is formed by the sharing of electrons between two atoms. As you know that atoms are reactive, elements are unstable in nature. In order to become stable or in order to attain nearest noble gas configuration, they react with each other. In the last section, that in the formation of ionic compounds, they react with each other by the transfer of electrons. But here, when a covalent bond is formed, electrons share their outermost electrons in order to form a covalent bond. As you know that the sharing of electrons takes place in such a way that each atom in the molecule, in the resulting molecule, gets the stable electron arrangement. For example, when a covalent bond is formed between two atoms, for instance, first atom is A and second atom is B. They have unstable electronic configuration. As you know that covalent bond is formed, at first you must know it that covalent is formed between non-metals, unlike ionic bond that is formed between a metal and a non-metal. But covalent is formed when non-metals react with each other by the mutual sharing of electrons, because non-metals generally have the capacity to gain electron, but when both the elements are non-metals they cannot gain electrons, but they share mutually. They contribute electrons in order to become stable, in order to attain nearest noble gas configuration. As you know that non-metals have usually 5, 6 or 7 electrons in the outermost shell. For instance, let me show you some examples. Chlorine, its atomic number is 17. It has how many electrons in outermost shell? 7 electrons. Oxygen, its atomic number is 8. It has how many electrons in outermost shell? 6 electrons. Nitrogen, it's a non-metal. Its electronic configuration is 7. It has how many electrons in its outermost shell? 5. So they have either 5 electrons in their outermost shell or 6 or 7 electrons. Except here is an exception, that is hydrogen. It is a non-metal and it is placed in the group first of the periodic table. It is the only non-metal that is having only one electron in its outermost shell, that is present in its K shell. So generally there are 5, 6 or 7 electrons in the outermost shell of the non-metals. So when two or more than two, whether they are similar or different, similar as well as different non-metals react with each other. For instance, in this way, A and A, for example, these are the two non-metals, they react with each other. These are the two similar atoms. When they react with each other they form homonuclear molecule. In next example, if A is one atom and B is other atom, they react with each other to form heteronuclear molecule. These molecules may be diatomic, triatomic or polyatomic. Diatomic means when the molecule is having two atoms triatomic when it is having 3 atoms, and polyatomic when it is having either 4 or more than 4 atoms in a molecule. So the covalent compounds are formed when one non-metal reacts with any other non-metal. So covalent bond is formed between similar or different nonmetals, and each nonmetal shares its one or more electrons with the other nonmetal. This is the introduction about covalent bond. Now we will see how a covalent bond is formed and how many types of covalent bond are there. So in general, covalent bonds are of three types. First one is single covalent bond, that is formed by one pair of electron or two electrons. Second is double covalent bond. It's formed by two pairs of electron. It contains total of 4 electrons. And third one is triple covalent bond. It is formed by three pairs of electron. And how many electrons? Three pair contain 6, total number of 6 electrons. So now we will discuss about the three types of covalent bond, and I will show you some examples in which single covalent bond, double and triple covalent bonds are present. So what is a single bond? Single bond is formed by the sharing of one pair of electrons between two atoms. Between two atoms, just like this. If there are two atoms A and B, single bond is represented by a single line. So there are two atoms A and B. They both are unstable. They are having either 5, 6 or 7 electrons in their outermost shell. So that means the non-metals require 3, 2 or 1 electrons to become stable. You will note it down that a non-metal needs 3, 2 or 1 electron in order to become stable, in order to attain nearest noble gas configuration. And the shared electron pair is always drawn between two atoms. If an atom needs only one electron to become stable, a single covalent bond is formed. For instance, these are the two electrons by which a single bond is formed. Single bond is formed in this way, and mutual sharing takes place in this way. Both the atoms become stable. I will show you some examples in which single covalent bond is formed. First one is chlorine molecule. This is a molecule. It is homonuclear diatomic molecule, Cl2. And how a single bond is formed between these chlorine atoms? Cl2 means it contains two atoms of chlorine. So we will write the atomic number and electronic configuration of chlorine. Atomic number of chlorine is 17. Its electronic configuration is 2, 8 and 7. So a chlorine atom is very reactive and it cannot exist free because it does not have the stable electron arrangement. So in order to become stable, it reacts with other chlorine atom and it forms Cl2 molecule. So atomic number of chlorine is 17. Its electronic K shell contains 2 electrons, L shell contains 8 and M shell contains how many electrons? 7 electrons. So it is the valence shell. Valence shell means outermost shell. How many electrons it needs? How many electrons M shell must possess? 8 electrons. So it needs 1 electron. In order, when chlorine reacts with a metal, there it gains this 1 electron. But when it combines with non-metal, whether the non-metal is itself, that is chlorine, or whether it is any other atom, here it will form bond by the mutual sharing of electrons. So it will react with other chlorine atom Cl, same electronic configuration 2, 8 and 7. This is the electronic configuration of two chlorine atoms. So how they will react with each other and form a single covalent bond, I will show you. It will form molecule by the mutual sharing of electrons. Cl, we will write the symbol of chlorine atoms, and we will form the electron dot structure. And in order to form electron dot structure of an atom or of a molecule, just write down the number of valence electrons. And in chlorine atom, how many valence electrons are present? 7 valence electrons. We will distribute these 7 electrons. Both the chlorine atoms are having 7 electrons in their outermost shell, so they will react with each other. They are having 7 electrons in their outermost shell. Just form the arrangement in this way: 7 electrons. In the same way, this chlorine atom is having 7 electrons in the valence shell. Now it must contain how many electrons? 8. It means it needs 1 electron. In both the chlorine atoms needs 1 electron to become stable. So they will share. Here mutual sharing of electron will take place. In this way, these dots represent the valence electrons in chlorine atom. These two electrons will be formed in this manner, first and second. So this is the mutual sharing. In this way, you can also write it in either in this way or in this way. Now these are the two electrons. In covalent bond, each atom contributes equal number of electrons. So here this chlorine atom contributed this electron, as well as this chlorine atom contributed 1 electron. So I will write it in this way. Here both the atoms contributed 1 electron. In this circle there are how many electrons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So 8 will be the electronic configuration of chlorine atom after mutual sharing. In the same way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So both the atoms shared electron, or in this way, chlorine single bond chlorine. This single bond is formed by these two electrons. It means in order to form a single covalent bond, how many electrons should be in the atom? 2 electrons. Total number of electrons 2. 1 electron is shared by first atom and the second electron is shared by second atom. This is the formation of covalent bond in chlorine molecule. Now I will show you next example. Hydrogen. hydrogen molecule. It is also diatomic in nature. So how does it form? Why does it need to form hydrogen molecule? Because as you know that hydrogen, its atomic number is 1. It contains how many hydrogen atoms? 2. They are arranged in this way: H, single bond, H. They will need in order to form bond, in order to form, as you know that their electronic configuration is also 1. They hydrogen contains only one electron, and that one electron is its outermost electron. K shell, there must be two electrons in the K shell, but here there are only one electrons in both the shells of hydrogen atom. So it needs one electron. Both the hydrogen atoms need one electron, so they will react in this way. Hydrogen, it contains only one electron. It will react with hydrogen, it also contains only one electron, and when they react with each other, they both contain only one electron, and they will contribute these two electrons, and this, in this way, mutual sharing of electron takes place, and a single bond is formed between two hydrogen atoms. At first their electronic configuration was only one electron was present in their K shell, but when they reacted with each other, these two electrons, this becomes stable, it contains two electrons, and also this hydrogen atom becomes stable, it contains two electrons. So you will remember it, in formation of covalent bond, they do not gain electron or they do not lose electron, they only share electrons. Here only mutual sharing of electron takes place and they become stable. So when they share one electron, their electronic configuration becomes stable and it is matched with helium, with the noble gases. Whether the elements form ionic bond or whether it forms covalent bond, they attain the nearest noble gas configuration. This was the second example. Now I will show you third example. HCl, hydrochloric acid, how they are unstable? It contains two different atoms, hydrogen and chlorine. Atomic number of hydrogen is 1 and that of chlorine is 17. Atomic electronic configuration of hydrogen is 1 and that of chlorine is 2, 8 and 7. 2, 8 and 7. Hydrogen is having only one shell, but chlorine is having K, L and M shell. Valence shell of hydrogen is K shell and that of chlorine is M shell. In K shell there must be a total number of 2 electrons and in M shell there must be a total number of 1 electron. So you will remember it that the number of electrons that are needed by the atoms, they share the same number of electrons. For instance, hydrogen, it needs only one electron to become stable, that means it will share one electron. Chlorine, it is having 7 electron and it also needs only one electron because M shell must contain 8 electrons. So then it needs only one electron, so it will share its one electron. The number of electrons that are needed by an atom, that is equal to the number of electrons mutually shared by the atom. If an element needs 2 electrons to become stable, the atom will share 2 electrons. If the atom needs 3 electrons to become stable, the atom will share same number of electrons, that is 3 electrons. So when an atom shares one electron, single bond will be formed. When it shares two electrons, both, when both the atoms share two electrons, double bond is formed. But when the both atoms share three electrons, a triple bond is formed. I will discuss it in the examples of double and triple bonds. So here you will note it down. The number of electrons that are needed by an atom is equal to the number of electrons that it will mutually share. So this is the electronic configuration. So when hydrogen, it contains only one electron, plus chlorine, it contains how many electrons in its valence shell? So when you are making the arrangement of atoms, you will represent the valence electrons in the form of dots around the symbol of the atoms. So this is hydrogen, it is having only one electron in its valence shell, and chlorine is having how many electrons in its valence shell? 7 electrons. So they will contribute how many electrons? 1 electron, because hydrogen needs 1 electron as well as chlorine needs 1 electron. So in this way, hydrogen plus chlorine they are having this electronic configuration. So hydrogen will contribute this electron and chlorine will contribute this electron. In this way, these are the two electrons that they share, each contribute, hydrogen as well as chlorine, and the other 6 electrons. So this is the electron dot structure of HCl. This is the pair of electron. One is contributed by hydrogen and the other is contributed by chlorine. So a single bond will be formed between hydrogen and chlorine atom and they will form HCl. So when they share mutually, the hydrogen becomes stable. A total number of 2 electrons will be present in its K shell, which is the electronic configuration of helium. And in chlorine, by the addition of this one electron, its electronic configuration will become 288, because it shares electron with the hydrogen atom, and this is the electronic configuration of argon. Both the atoms will become stable. This was the third example. Last example is formation of CH4. So CH4, its name is methane. Carbon and hydrogen. It contains how many hydrogen atoms? 4 hydrogen atoms. Why? Because the atomic number of carbon is 6, 2 and 4. This is the electronic configuration of carbon. You have studied it in detail in your unit carbon and its compounds. It is carbon, as you know, that it is tetravalent. Tetravalent means its valency is 4. It needs how many electrons? 4 electrons in order to become stable. So the number of electrons that it needs, it will react with the number of atoms. The number of electrons needed by an atom to become stable, that will be equal to the number of atoms that will form bonds with it. So valency of carbon is 4. It needs 4 more electrons to become stable. So in order to become stable, it will react with how many hydrogen atoms? 4 atoms of hydrogen. Hydrogen its atomic number is 1. It is having only 1 electron in its K shell. All the hydrogen atom, it contains 4 hydrogen atom. All the hydrogen atoms have only 1 electron in their valence shell. So this is the electronic configuration of carbon and hydrogen. So carbon will form 4 bonds. It needs 4 electrons to become stable and 4 electrons will not be contributed by a single hydrogen atom, because hydrogen atom is having only one electron. So in order to become stable, it will react with 4 atoms of a hydrogen atom. So in this way, carbon, its valency is 4. It will react with how many hydrogen atoms? 4 atoms of hydrogen. 4 atoms of hydrogen. Hydrogen is having only one electron. So 4 into H means 4 times hydrogen. 4 hydrogen atoms. They will form a bond in this way. 4 atoms of hydrogen will be placed at the 4 sides of carbon atom. Carbon is having 4 electrons and each hydrogen is having one electron. It's having one electron. The bond will be formed in this way. This is the structure of methane. So when carbon, so here you will see this is the electron dot structure of methane. Hydrogen will share electrons with carbon. Each hydrogen will share electron with carbon, and its stability will be gained, and carbon will share, it will share 4 electrons with the 4 atoms of hydrogen. So the electronic configuration of carbon becomes 2 8, and that of hydrogen becomes 2. 2 8 is the 2 plus 8, total number of electron becomes 10, and this is the atomic number of neon, and 2 electron is the electronic configuration of helium. So this is the formation of CH4 by the mutual sharing of electrons between carbon and 4 atoms of hydrogen. So in the next class I will show you some examples of the covalent compounds having double and triple bond.